What is up, cave dwellers? Welcome back to another video here on the Brink of Minecraft server. Now, this video is going to be a little different than the previous ones because in this video I want to do all of the pathways and all of the terraforming all the way from spawn over to my base. So if we take a look at this map over here, I want to make a pathway that goes all the way from spawn somewhere over here that goes all the way over to my base, and maybe even build the bridge that connects over to Mars's area over here. So let's head over to spawn and get started. Alrighty, so this is the first section of the pathway that I have done, and I'll take a little walk through it just to show you. I think I want to add a whole bunch more, flowers and bushes and things just to make it look a little nicer. But just up over here, I did, run out of all of this mud, and I had to go back to my farm and farm a whole bunch of wheat, and my wheat field actually grew about twice the size. So I'll have to come back to this and connect it up over to the shopping area. And over here, I want to have kind of like a sort of roundabout thing here. Have one part come down this way towards the shopping area, and then have another one come up this way and connect back to the main path that goes all the way over to my base. But as you can see, it's quite far away. I can't even see my base from here. But let me run back and hop on my horse and head back to work on a little bit of the path over by my base. Alrighty, so here's what I got done so far. Going into my cave here, I've added some steps just to make it a little bit easier. And then, well, this pole is actually kind of in the way, so I think I can just go ahead and tear this down because I don't really need it anymore. I think everybody should know where my base is at this point. But this pathway goes down over to the start of the bridge, and I think I'm going to build that a little bit later in the video. That's going to be a pretty massive project to work on that spans from my base over to the city. But this pathway, I also have it loop around the side of the base, so if I want to take my horse up there, or if anyone just wants to walk up, they can walk up the side of the mountain here. It is a little boring. I also need to decorate this area a little bit more and clean up some of the edges. I know this is kind of just left floating here, and it's not very safe. You could fall off the side of this. But this goes all the way up and loops around to my base over here. And I think eventually I'm gonna have this come over and connect to another main pathway coming from my water elevators to my base, and I'll have another one go over to my bamboo farm. While we're here at the base, I can actually update these maps and take a look at what it looks like now over here. I'm really excited to see the change of the farming area and see how bigger that gets. Wow. Ooh. Yeah, that's already looking pretty cool. Wow. That's really nice, just the path kind of snaking its way up and around the mountain there. I quite like that. Now the next thing to do, I think, is to gather a bunch of leaves and flowers and things and just kind of decorate this to make it look a little nicer and, you know, clean up some of the edges. And there we go, the path is nicely decorated. I put some lanterns around, I put a whole bunch of shrubbery, we've got like just groups of plants and everything, a whole bunch of flowers, just to make it look a little bit more colorful. I also planted some bushes and a couple pumpkins, so once those grow, that'll give it a whole nother pop of color. But looking at it from down here, I think it looks really nice. We've got some dark plants over here, kind of where it would be shaded. And there's more bushes in there. And then kind of on the outside, we've got some lighter ones and just another group up in the middle there. And we can even go over and update our map one more time. There we go. I think that gives just a little bit more detail to the area around it, and I think it looks great. Next up, I think I'll start working on this bottom section of the path to start going all the way over towards the shopping area and spawn. Should I start the bridge? Yeah. It's bridge time. Well, this place is really starting to look different now. Got a whole bunch of pathways in and this fancy new bridge here. Wow! Goes right into the city that Mars is building over here. This side of the bridge I decided to let all of this copper fully oxidize, and it's pretty much all the way there, I think, just except for that one over there. Because I like the bluish green, but also I did like the way that the regular copper looked as well. I feel like that also works nicely. But there is one last thing I wanted to do before I end the video, and that's continue this path all the way down here to my little fishing spot. And also, I think I'm going to take my mud farm up in the base and move it down to right here, because I think it'll fit just kind of down right here underneath the bridge. And I think it would be better to have the mud farm right next to where I get my wheat. You know, it'd be good to keep those two things close together whenever I want to make any more packed mud. So I'm going to go ahead and move the mud farm and get the last little bit of this path done. Okay, and there we have it. The path underneath the bridge. And I put my mud farm here. This is Ilmango's design. I don't know if I mentioned that, but this just works great. And having it so close to the wheat field is going to be fantastic. I've got the path going up the hill and over back towards the cave here. Now, let me just hop on my horsey here. I still don't have a name for him. If you guys have any name suggestions for him, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear some suggestions of what I should call my little horse friend. Yeah, over here I did run out of mud, but I'm not going to spend any more time on that because like pretty much all I've been doing for the last week is just getting mud and placing things, so I will continue this path, probably not on video, but I'll show it whenever I get that finished. Something that I will want to do is add a little bit more decorations to the path over on this side by Spawn Island, and also connect it fully up to the shopping area. Whoa, we're having some weird chunk loading issues. What's going on? But yeah, I will want to connect this path up eventually. I'll probably see if I can ask someone else to help me with that, because I want to get some other people involved in stuff going on in the shopping area over here. I'm thinking kind of in this sort of split path here, we could have some sort of monument or just something in the middle here that signifies that this is the start of the shopping area. But yeah, as you can see, this is quite the path going all the way over to my base, and it's going to take up so much mud that I just want to move on to other things at this point. So, with that being said, I think I'm going to wrap up the video. The next thing that I want to do is work on my storage area here. I've spent a little bit of time in my creative world coming up with some plans for my base here, and I really want to get started on that, but I'm going to do that in the next video. So, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy, feel free to leave a like. And if you want to watch more, just watch more. There should be a video on the screen very shortly for you to watch if you haven't already. But I will see you in the next video. Bye! What is happening on my Minecraft screen?
Oh,
And it's glitching out.
that happens.
What the hell?
Cute. Are those wingdings? What's going on? Okay.